Hello viewers, I'm your host Otieno, welcoming you to yet another episode of the Daily Drive Show. And today we have a very interesting car over here, and this car that we have today is the Peugeot, the 3008 variant, and this is the 2017 variant, and this car is rather new in the Kenyan market. So we are going to dive deep into this car and look at all the good that comes with it and see how we can dissect it piece by piece and give you every information that you might be asking yourself about the Peugeot 3008. So don't touch that dial and keep it locked. We are going to start by looking at the design of this car, and we're going to start by the front profile of this car. And this car, when you look at it from the top side, you see that it has cameras that are being used by the cruise control of the car. And from inside the screen over there, you also see that it has a camera that is used to record the incidences that take place when you are driving. So this car comes with a 4-cylinder engine, and it is turbocharged, and we'll look at that later. It's not a very wide hood. It is kind of a mid-sized hood, and it has some chrome accents that are mated together to this grille that help with the design of this car. So this being a Peugeot, they try to push the limits of design, and you see it has the bumper that protrudes in the headlight, and this was kinda made to look like a lion's teeth. It looks really good from my angle, and this car also comes with fog lights over here that can help you as you're driving in fog areas. This season, as we are shooting today, is the season where it is really raining, and if you have a car, you will really need fog lights for good visibility. This car also has daytime running lights, and it has projector lamps that are very bright, and they can help with the visibility as you're driving at night or as you're driving inside a fog. So it has vents here and down here to help with the cooling of the car. And as I open the hood of this car, we're going to notice that this car comes with a range of engines. So this car comes with a toothpick. Other cars comes with hydraulics, but you know, you can always upgrade the toothpick to a hydraulic. And this car comes with from a 1.2 liter turbocharged engine to a 2 liter turbocharged engine, depending on what you want. And it produces quite a good amount of horsepower that can be used for town driving, and it can do some mild off-roading because this car is a crossover. This car also competes with cars like the Nissan Qashqai and the Kia Sorento, among other cars. So as I close this hood, I'm going to take you through the side profile of this car. And as we go to the side of this car, you'll find that this car comes with size 17-inch wheels as standard, and this car comes with the alloy rims that come from Peugeot, and they look really attractive. So there is this chrome part that extends like that, and it takes over from the headlamp just to put onto the consistency of the design of this car. And it has quite a number of chrome accents, as you can see. And this car also has a plastic trim over here that runs all around the car, and it helps with the off-roading. So if you do mild off-roading with this car, this plastic part helps to protect your car's paint from being scratched. So another thing is that this size 17-inch wheels can always be upgraded to size 18 or even 19 wheels if you want. And another thing that can also raise this car up if you want to do even better off-roading is that you can always upgrade the springs that come with this car. So as we go back to the door side of this car, you find that the chrome accents of this car continue like that, and there is the plastic part that help when you go off-roading. And this car is not very tall. You can see I'm just a bit taller than it. I am around 6 foot tall in height, and this car also has a door that opens with a wide angle, and this wide angle helps to load cargo, and it also helps for the passengers to get into the car easily. And you find that this car has a rubbering part on the lower part of the door, and it will make water not to get inside the car as you're wading through water. So the front part of the windows is not tinted, but the back side is tinted from factory. This is because of the privacy of the passengers that you might be carrying here. We have the rails that run on top of the car, and we also have a panoramic sunroof up there. And we will see later in the car that this car has one of the best lighting when it comes to lighting inside the cars. So as I take you back to the rear profile of this car, before we go to the rear profile, you'll notice that this car has the fuel cap on the right. This is not a Japanese car, this is a French car. So it has the fuel cap on the right, and the back profile of this car is kind of sloping like that, and it has a spoiler right here with the brake light, and the windshield behind here is somehow tinted more than the other windows over there for more privacy. So we have the Peugeot badge on here. One of the cool features about this car is that even if you don't have the remote on your hand, you can just kick on the lower part of the car and the car's boot will pop up like that. So this car comes with a boot that is really big. You can put a number of suitcases here, and you can also hold that part and it will fold down the seats over there, and you will get even extra space. So down here we also have extra space, and this is a good thing about this car. This car comes with a spare wheel. This spare wheel is really handy in the Kenyan market because we are in Africa, and you know not all roads are good. So in case you find yourself in a catastrophe, you will just change the wheels, as opposed to those other cars that come with the tire compressors and the tire repair kits, which are not very practical. So let me close down the boot of this car and let's go to the interior of the Peugeot 3008. We are inside the interior of the Peugeot 3008, and this car feels very prime. I must say this car has that feeling of, you know, luxury, and it has a prime finish. So when I get into this car, the headroom that I get is not quite huge, but it feels really nice, and the legroom is plenty. So the steering wheel of this car is not as big as the cars that we are used to, and it has quite a number of buttons over here that you can use to increase the volume of your music, decrease the volume of your music, and you know, the speech recognition. And it also has a toggles. It has a wheel right here that if you just rotate, you will navigate the screen over here and also the screen over here. This car does not have any analog gauge. Instead, it has both gauges being digital over here and over here, and it feels really nice. So the dashboard of this car is really driver centric. It is tilted towards the driver. So as I'm seated in this car feels very prime. It has paddle shifters over here that are used to control the engine when you have put this car into manual mode, and it has these knobs over here that, you know, they feel very prime as you operate them. They feel this car comes with a very nice sound system. So when you touch the dashboard and the pieces on top of this car, they are not leather, but they are made of a squeegee material which feels prime. And Underneath that squeegee material, we have a fabric material over here, and then when you go down, we have some plastics, and then we have leather that is placed on the part that the driver or other passengers hold. So when you get to the middle center console part of this car, you find that it comes with an infotainment screen that helps to declutter the many buttons that are supposed to be in this car. So under the infotainment screen, we have the vents that are pointing the driver. There are other vents that points to the passengers, and these also points to the drivers. And the air also blows in such a way that it will also get to the back seats. And down here we have buttons that are being used to control the other things that you can also find here. The first button is the button that takes you to the screen, and it takes you to the screen that has the music inside your car. This one controls the fan speed of your car, and then this one controls the navigation, and then this one controls the driver, the driver settings. You might want your suspension to act sporty and to be rigid, so you go here and you will get all that function. And we have the call button over here, and we have the menu that will display over here. And you also have the hazard that when you press, the hazard comes on and it will display on the digital screen over there. So right down here we have a wireless charging pad where you just place your phone, and your phone, if it supports wireless charging, it will charge wirelessly. We also have a 12-volt socket over here, and we have a USB port over here. The start stop button of this car is here, and this is how the gear selection gauge of this car looks like. It kind of wants to look like that one of a BMW. So we also have another space over here. You can put your pen, you can put anything you want. We have this handbrake button that is just, most cars that were produced from 2016 going backwards had the manual handbrake, but this one has this button that if you are not careful and you let your battery die, you will have problems to actuate your handbrake. But there are always measures that are being put in place such that this one can also be disengaged when your battery dies. So this is the sport mode button that when you press, the car gets into sport mode, and that means that the engine configures itself so that the revs goes up very fast, and this car will perform better. We also have cup holders over here, 2 sets of cup holders, and we have the Mercedes style armrest that has a part that you can use as a storage down here. This part is so deep you can put even a bottle of water, 1 liter, like that. So another thing that I commend this car about is the lighting. This car has excellent lighting. You can't compare it to any other car that we have reviewed. The lighting in this car is just excellent. It's very, very, very nice, and it comes with a panoramic sunroof that runs all the way to the back, and you can also retract the sunroof such that it just leaves the roof without anything, and you can close it and open it whenever you want it. This car also has some standing lights over here that you can just actuate or deactivate depending on how you want them. So with that being said, this car also has a glove box over here that is made of Alcantara, and you can also close it over here with the key of the car. And if you have something that you don't want people to access and you want to store it here, you'll just lock the glove compartment of this car. This car comes with plenty of airbags, airbag for the driver, passenger, and also curtain airbags, and that makes the front part of this car. Let's go and see the passenger's experience at the back of this car. Behind this car, it feels very prime. There are 2-tone seats over here, which means that it has both the leather part and the fabric part, and it feels really, really prime. there are the holders over here, and this car comes with a panoramic sunroof. That means that it has excellent lighting, and you know, this car has plastic trims on the upper part, and you know, there is this fabric part, and there is also the leather part where the passenger holds. So we have a couple of cup holders and storage spaces over here and over here, and there is also the speakers for the car, and has 12-volt socket at the center console part at the back of the car, and it also has vents that are used to feed in air to the rear passengers of this car. I must mention that this car can carry 3 people, and it doesn't have a transmission tunnel. That means that you can carry 3 people behind here very, very, very comfortably. So it also has isofix parts where you can fix the child seats or the child that you have if you have a child, and it also has storage spaces that you can use to put your files behind the seats over here, and it also has, you know, lights for the rear part of the car. So there is this part, if you're not carrying a third passenger, that is retractable, and you have 2 sets of cup holders. The cup holders are small though, and there is also this part that you can use to access the boot of the car. So this car is a really prime car. If you like to purchase this specific car, contact the number on your screen. You will get the pricing, and in case you need to view this car, you will also be directed on where you can view it.